This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. This is a sponsored message. Recently, I started using Anchor as my podcast host. Anchor offers benefits that most other hosts do not. It's free to use, but it also has a collection of tools that allow you to create a podcast completely within the Anchor website or smartphone app. They distribute your show to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other distribution channels without any additional effort on your part. And you can make money from your podcast without any minimum audience size. So you can use it as a more traditional podcast host like I do, but it's also got everything you need to start a podcast from scratch in one place. If you're keen to give it a shot, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's Tuesday, April 12th, 2022. Let's talk about the news. From the New York Times, Russia-Ukraine War Summary. The World Bank estimates that Ukraine's economy will contract by about 45.1% this year, and Russia's will contract by about 11.2%. Italy's prime minister visited Algeria to see about getting more gas from them so as to reduce Italy's reliance on Russian gas. Russian officials have warned Sweden and Finland, 2 countries that have expressed interest in joining NATO in the wake of Russia's invasion, to not join NATO. And Ukrainian officials have said that Russia is holding many Ukrainian civilians, including journalists, activists, and elected officials, in Russian prisons. Efforts to evacuate civilians from eastern Ukraine continues as Russia pivots a significant chunk of their forces in that direction, while new efforts to increase sanctions on Russia and get more and more sophisticated weaponry to Ukrainian forces without triggering a Russian counterattack continue. From the Associated Press, Pakistan's PM vows to fight on after parliament ousts him. Pakistan's new Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif, was sworn in yesterday after a week of significant political drama that saw former Prime Minister Khan orchestrate the dissolution of Parliament as part of an effort to forestall a no-confidence vote that ultimately knocked him from power. Khan's supporters continue to protest against a ruling by the Supreme Court that deemed the dissolution of Parliament illegal. Members of his party quit their positions en masse, and Khan himself continues to claim that he's been the victim of a conspiracy led by the United States, a claim he's repeatedly made without evidence since the possibility of an ouster for his alleged mismanagement of the economy and overall corruption arose. The new prime minister is generally seen as being closer to the West and has pledged to fix the economy. And from BBC News, Somalia drought. Act now or 350,000 children will die. A new United Nations estimate says that almost 700,000 people have been forced from their homes in Somalia to search for food and water due to 4 successive seasons of drought and incredibly high temperatures. Those same estimates suggest that something like 4.5 million people have been negatively impacted by this series of drought conditions, which came on the back of another similar series of droughts in 2017. Local humanitarian agencies have said they only have 3% of the resources they need to adequately serve people who have been afflicted by these conditions, and children in particular are suffering the effects of ongoing malnutrition and related ailments. A representative from the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has said that if nothing is done to change this status quo, about 350,000 of the 1.4 million severely malnourished children in Somalia will die soon. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com, and you can support this and other related projects like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.